See?
Yes. When butterflies come from their chrysalis and unwrap themselves, they pump fluid into their wings and lift a little and then relax back down. Pump more fluid and lift higher and again till their wings can go completely over their heads. It is unnecessary for Dew to twirl to prove she is naked, but as she did, she slowly lifted her arms a little higher with each turn. Thin but not skinny, slight but not small, not very tall but not short, well-toned and lined but not muscular. Her breasts were not swell surfaces. They were stable, plump, plush plums projecting out, monitoring every movement of the body with their own mesmerizing motions. On each was a late-seasoned strawberry swelled and ready to turn red, calf to thigh in perfect proportion on thin stovepipe legs, each thigh thinning the green of her skin to a lighter shade. Hips well-shaped and round. It looked like she had birthed children. Definite ass! The two solid green apple halves hustling to get into each other's space. The belly button was a dent on a slightly domed, taunt side to side, ribs down to hairline shield. That place is a moss that grows thick and tangled, the stuff of the woods that is gray and green and low to the ground. When you press your face close to it and stir your fingertips in it, the earthy smells will cling to you to be breathed again and again.
See? Nothing up my sleeve.
Suddenly serious.
That's an old joke, right?
Why do you wear?
The boys don't need anything because they've lost all their human. I can't tell if they're jealous or mad. But we haven't. Still, we stay covered to keep from being too irritating.
This lady was a long way down a strange turn for the children of humankind, but you really wouldn't know it to look. Her body was just like a woman of the theater who had been painted green and made up to remind the audience of plants for some reason of the playwright's script. She pushed the untidy man back into the reclined chair and got his head situated over a bowl.
Don't think you have to be still or anything. You won't lose a leaf with me.
The attempted reply was nubbled as she purposely pressed onto him, stretching persistently, moving heavily over him, sliding slowly like a large, well-fed snake to turn the bubbling water on.
That's it. Just try to relax. I know I must look gross to you. We're so far from human. But you know we females, we still flow at the full moon. We don't know why. It's such a tease to the guys. I think we're not really committed to this relationship. You know, deep down in ourselves, we're leaving our evolutionary options open. Right here, right now, that's more than all right with me.
She had worked up quite a lather and was now scrubbing deeply, jiggling energetically above him. One of the loosely, lazily clasped hands lost its grip and flopped off his waist. As raised, it came up between her legs. She giggled and moved them apart. Thoughts and clouds rolled by. The sensation here is in mutual imitation of all the other rounded surfaces of the female body that are so wonderful. The sun moved over the room, pleasurably releasing its warmth. The cool feel of dew helped shake off the scorching feel of the radiation desert. Remembered, the sun was a friend. I'll have to bring Ralph here, mumbled through his mind. He looked a little ragged around the ears. Probably could use a clipping. Would you give a trim to a man with an elephant's head? Instant great big grin.
You mean Ralph? He came about the same time you were arriving. That's why I didn't hear the superb speech you gave.
Ralph was here?
Yeah, and great gardenias. He is a tipper. Oh, don't feel like you have to tip or anything, but he was quite a tipper. The floor cleans itself now.
Wings' hand dropped, and he kind of deflated, but felt better immediately as Dew reached down, retrieving and returning.
He was very polite, never shook a stem.
Dreamy and museful. Must have been thinking about something she wasn't saying.
That elephant doesn't wear pants, and he's certainly not planted his root any place the rodents would get it. How about you, Wing? You don't look too green. Have you still got the root?
Lips were moving, not a word was said, but one glance below his belt settled it for Dew.
I know about our history. We just wanted to be gentler, but we gals didn't want to stand planted, waiting for bees to deliver pollen. I don't know why it's going that way, why we're wanting something and hating it at the same time. Right now I love the way you feel me, and I've never felt like when you nibbled on me when the pollen shows up. Oh, I mean you get a little excited, but well, it's not really sex, is it? What do you think?
She stood squarely, determined, hands on hips, perfect posture, waiting earnestly for an answer. It's a new world, Dew. I look at history too, since the forced evolution detonations, and now it's like living on the cowcatcher of a freight train.
What?
Everything is changing faster than ever before as far as I can tell. Everywhere I go, I see the whole of creation swirling and changing. All the creatures and plants are trying to make up their minds about how it's going to be for them. But it's more than life is changing. Non-life is becoming hungry. More change happens. Every bit of everything has to adjust around the new change, and it happens over and over. You change? Half a moment given to quizzical thought. Never really thought about it. Kind of concluded, not that I know of, continued. There are still people of our history out there on the earth. Many new types of humans, too. It won't be long before I won't be able to tell the lineage of humanity from other creatures. Hell, some look more human than we used to and aren't human at all. And there are machines acquiring real consciousness. I could be confused if I was the type for confusion. The world is not really the wild to me that it is to everyone else, but right now it sure is wild with possibilities. I couldn't agree more. And Du bent, pressed her lips to lips. The long kiss gripped, tongued, fed, was filled with instinct, memories, dreams, exploration, wondering, the releasing of generations of longing. No big time span for evolution as it used to exist, but a long time for changes in today's people. The lady knew her mother had longed to kiss. She had heard her grandmother say the same, and they said that the women that they knew had told them this, and that they had had it said to them. That was a lot of secret talks, and definitely one of the influences keeping their bodies from rejecting the losses of human love, family, and pregnancy. Her cool skin drew in the dry warmth of his hand, pulling up as she reached for the faucet, but stayed struck in a pose of reaching, inviting. There was more than enough to touch and taste. Well, asparagus. Feeling back high on the inner leg, a noticeably stiff node was found in the folds above them. With every rub, the space widened, room enough to tug below as lips grew more pressed above. Her hand had floated down from the unfinished errand, and the sound of flowing water was deafening as it ran in bubbled air-filled volumes over both their heads, slopping Du's hair down around Wing's face, back, inch, worming, arcing, jerking, hips, faster, faster, moans, quietly, eerie, siren night sounds, like singing, like talking to her soul. Eavesdropping. We still have it, Grandma. We still have it. You said we would never give it up. Soft, succulent, wriggled body was a mass of green peas goosebumps, panting puffs of air into the mouth she refused to leave. Knees clutched so tightly only one finger squeezed, only one free finger was free to rapidly flick the slick-soaked spot. She shivered a few more times, shrugged, pulling all her muscles in tight before releasing, overstretching, a reach up to turn the slobbering wet flow of gushing water off. Composure returned, slowly unknotting Du from the rigid posture of a heat-consumed puss. Air audibly exhaled, taking a long time to pass by lips, swelled and quivering with each diminishing convulsion of her body, melting down to lay, cuddle, enjoy. That wasn't painful for you when that happened, is it? I wouldn't want to hurt you. Oh well, thanks for that. Well, just think of me as a big tipper, big as an elephant. Pulling up and off allowed a look-see down between them. She became poker face, lips pursed, like planning, like bargaining. Well, we'll see.